All right, guys, what's up? Latest SmackDown here with your host Aaron Will Order. What's up, guys? On this Friday afternoon, welcome to a wrestling show. Yeah, we're not going to talk. It's all about wrestling. Yes, and we know SmackDown. The Rock is back tonight. The final boss will make an announcement tonight. Okay, going to make an announcement tonight on SmackDown, so I'll be on the lookout for SmackDown stuff on this channel. I got some really, really good news. I'm halfway to being fully monetized. Okay, and what I mean by that, is I've reached a threshold for memberships and super chats. So if you're watching this stream or my future live streams on this channel, or do you want to just give me a super chat, or you just want to super chat on one of my videos, whatever, you could do so. Memberships have to get approval first. So I expect tomorrow approval from YouTube for the memberships to go through, and then you'll be able to sign up for memberships. 2 tiers. I'll be talking about them tomorrow. I'm gonna make a video, a video on it tomorrow for members. But yeah, that's tomorrow. So super chats are on the way. So you can super chat right now if you want. But I'm not fully monetized. And what I mean by that, I haven't reached the 4,000 hours, and I have not reached the 1,000 subs yet. I'm close. I'm close. Don't get me wrong. I'm close to that. Yeah, there we go. Red is my first super chat. Yeah, we're live. Is that in here? Yeah, there we go. Red is my first super chat. There we go. But I'm close. I'm close to getting fully monetized. Just need 100 more subs to 1,000, and a little bit less than 900 hours till 4,000. So I'm on the verge. Oh, Dynamite! It actually is lasting longer. Yeah, I'm gonna heart this too, man. I liked it. Thank you, Red, for my first super chat. So memberships should go up tomorrow. 2-tier membership. You can choose whatever one you want, and there's perks and all that. Tomorrow I'll make a video on that. All right. But I'm very close to monetization. Okay, right. So I'm gonna try my best to get to 1,000 subs. Whether it's through shorts, videos, maybe I'll hit something like another crazy 10,000 views video, like maybe like 100 subs. If I hit something like that again in the next few weeks, there's 1,000 subs right there. I don't know exactly. You don't need a tip anymore. I could put my tip account. I could put my tips for tips, but I used the tip. Red. I used the site for a tip because I didn't have super chats then. Now I have super chats, so I really don't need a tip anymore. Yeah, it was Streamlabs or Stream Elements, one of those, but I don't use that anymore. I use this now. Okay, I didn't use that because I didn't have super chats, but now I got super chats. But I'm close to getting, just very, very close to getting fully monetized. So close. Need 100 more subs. So if any way possible, get me 100 subs. 100 subs. And the hours, don't worry about. I could get the hours. Okay? On my own. Don't worry about the hours. And I will create custom emojis too. Okay? Be on the lookout for that. I will get custom emojis also. All right? So be on the lookout for that, guys. All right? Now, I'll let you know. So, I have done this series called Wrestling Rivals a couple years ago. Done 4 episodes. You can check my playlist of of Wrestling Rivals. I've done 4 shows. If I can memorize, Rock and Austin, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, Undertaker, and I forget who else. So this will be my 5th one, and this is quite a big one too, right? This is actually a big rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries in the history of wrestling, and it obviously might be arguably the biggest rivalry in the history of WCW. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Hollywood Hogan and Sting. Okay? NWO versus WCW. Okay? Okay? All right. Right? So before we get into this, little backstory between these two. Right? Between these two wrestlers. Okay? Sting. The icon, the true WCW wrestler, the guy that is a true loyal to WCW. Never left WCW. Only left WCW when WCW folded, was bought by WWE. Always went to TNA, but during the Monday Night Wars and before Monday Night Wars and after the Monday Night Wars, he was true WCW lifer, right? Hollywood Hogan, Hulk Hogan, obviously Hulk Hogan made a name for himself in WWE, right? For many years, right? Hulkamania, multiple titles, championships, and then '93 he left WWE, and then '94 he signed on with WCW, went to WWE's rival company, WCW, right? So the biggest wrestler in WWE meets the most loyal wrestler from WCW in Sting. And Sting, before all this, was not what you see in the thumbnail. Black and white, scorpion like, the crow kind of, inspired gimmick. He was more like the surfer kind. The beach blonde, bleach blonde hair from Venice, California, blonde surfer type. Okay? Right? For most of his career, that was Sting. Once WCW got Hulk Hogan, there's a new biggest fish in town came in. All right? New biggest fish came into town. All right, all right. So Sting, right away, Hogan, push to the top, push to the top, right? Push to the top. Obviously, he was going to push to the top. They were not going to make him go through hurdles and build his way, right? Obviously, he's going to be pushed to the top. Okay, push to put a rocket ship on him, push him to the top. His first match at WCW is with Ric Flair at Bash at the Beach '94, 2 years before the infamous heel turn in the formation of the NWO. But his first match in WCW was against Ric Flair, Bash at the Beach in 1994. Shaq was there and others were there. And this is for the WCW World Title Championship at the time, which Hogan successfully won on his first match at WCW, defeated Ric Flair, and feuded with Ric Flair for a while. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to do this to the best of my knowledge. I don't have like a Wikipedia page up. But I'm going to do this to the best of my knowledge, guys, okay? For a while, right? The Monday Night Wars. So Monday Night Wars was going on, right? Monday Night Wars. WCW, WWE 96, right? These two wrestlers obviously played a huge part in the Monday Night Wars. A big part. Not a supporting role, but like a starring role. Big starring role in the Monday Night Wars. Okay. Massive. So, how did this feud start? Well, 1996. 1996. Summer of 1996. WWE struggled, could not keep some of the top stars from resigning. WWE was struggling financially and couldn't afford to keep some of the wrestlers whose contracts red. I don't know. If they didn't have financial problems, and these two wrestlers are talking about that they wanted to keep, but they couldn't afford, and they made the clear records that if WWE could match their offer, the WCW offer, they would have stayed. They said it on record. National Hall said it on record. So I mentioned Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, formerly Razor and Diesel, their contracts expired in 1996 during the spring, around April, May, right? Obviously, you got the infamous Manhattan, what happened in New York at the end, when they broke kayfabe, all that. It's in Madison Square Garden, and Triple H had to suffer the consequences because Vince McMahon couldn't make Shawn Michaels, the champion at the time, suffer the consequences, and he couldn't. X-Pac was hurt, and he couldn't make Nash and Hall suffer consequences because they were leaving, so he couldn't really punish them. But this feud started not by these two. Actually, it started with Scott Hall, just coming through the crowd on a random Nitro while there was a match going on, and takes the mic and makes it sound like WWE is declaring a war on WCW, right? And he says he's not alone. All right? The next week, he shows up, goes to the commentary booth. Now, the WCW commentary booth at the time was not near the ring. It was actually back near the entrance, right? Near the grab position. Tells Bischoff, it tells the Bischoff asks, where's the other guy? And Scott Hall's like, points behind him, right? And you see Diesel, Kevin Nash. And yes, that's infamous. That's the infamous adjective. Play is not an adjective, but you get the idea. That's the infamous screw up in that promo where he said, look at the adjective, play. Play is a verb, not an adjective, right? Verb is an action word, right? Verbs mean action. Adjectives don't mean action. Okay. And they challenged to 3 of WCW's best men. And those best men were going to be Macho Man Randy Savage, Lex Luger, and Sting. Right? And they said, who's your third man? So we get to the Bash at the Beach. Right? They have the third man, but National Hall come out with the Jim Disc tune. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall come out with them too, and they're called the Outsiders because they made it seem like they're part of WWE still. WWF at the time. So they took on Luger. So basically it was kind of a handicap match, even though it was officially it was a 6-on-6, but it seemed like a handicap match. But it became evenly 2-on-2 because Lex Luger and storyline got hurt in the match. So it became 2-on-2 Macho Man and Sting versus the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. And Turn Man. Turn Man. Okay. And the match got out of control so crazy. Nash goes to a low blow, Macho Man, knocking down Macho Man to the ground. All of a sudden, you see Hulk Hogan walking down to the ring. Now, Hogan's been a while away for a few months at the time, right? And you hear the infamous Bobby Brain Heenan line. It says, whose side is he on? And Tony Schiavone, how can you say something like that? But when Bobby Brain Heenan said something like that, it made you think, right? It would make you think. And then you would think Hogan's there to save the day. But no! He gives a leg drop to Macho Man Randy Savage, turns his back on WCW, and then does 2 more leg drops, tells National Hall to come in, right? And you see all the garbage, the garbage, not garbage. Well, actually, it's garbage, but it was food, drinks, whatever the crowd could throw into the crowd. Well, me and Gene Okerlund went to interview Hulk Hogan, asking him Hulk Hogan's reason why he turned his back on WCW, and the stuff that Hogan said, like, the fans can stick it, brother. You saw these fans represent the garbage, like here. Oh my God, it was crazy. You see all the garbage being thrown at the outside. That was like a big, like the fans did not like that. Their childhood hero, Hulk Hogan, turning his back, selling out. And then, in that same promo, this right here is a foundation of wrestling. You could call this a new world order. In short, NWO, and that's when NWO was born. NWO, as you see in my title. Now, as time went on, NWO's goal was to make it seem like they're another promotion. They're trying to take over WCW, right? Trying to take over WCW. Okay. And how does Sting fit into this? Well, okay, Sting. So Sting is WCW's, like, right? You know how Sting is. He's everything. Represents everything WCW, right? Represents everything WCW. Okay. Now, obviously, you can ask me questions in super chat, stuff like that. Okay. But it's this thing represents every right. So what happened was as the rivalry was as the story as NWO was starting to get big, like at the early stages of the NWO, they wanted to turn Sting against the fans in WCW. So they obviously got a poster Sting to make it look like it was his Sting turning his back on WCW, like attacking Lex Luger, who was really good friends with Sting. And as the weeks went on before the first Fall Brawl in '96, NWO versus the team of the Horsemen and Lex Luger and Sting, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair with Sting and Lex Luger. They were building up to that match by NWO making believe that Sting has turned their back on WCW, attacking Luger, and when Luger is outside as Mento, Sting seems like attacked him, and as weeks went on, they don't know if that was him or not, right? And the real Sting comes around, that was not me! That was not me! Okay? It's not me. Fall Brawl comes, and as the match is going on, 4-on-3, Sting's the last one for his supposed team, right? You see the fake Sting in the ring for the NWO team. For the WCW team, Sting comes in, right? Comes in. And there's two back-to-back Stings. Two back-to-back Stings. The one Sting took out members of NWO and the fake Sting and looked at Lex Luger and his team and kind of flips him off and walks out. And Team WCW loses. The next Nitro, Sting cuts a promo. Right? And felt betrayed by WCW. Feels betrayed by WCW, not believing him. So he decides to take a hiatus. In truth, Sting was a little bit hurt, a little bit injured, a little bit, right? But it also wanted to do a long-term story with Sting. Okay? Now, as time went on between WCW and NWO, Sting started to show up sporadically in the rafters. But he wasn't a Sting, the surfer Sting, the bleach blonde or whatever with the colorful face paint. No. Sting all of a sudden changed. He had a white painted face, black hair. His clothing were dark black and white, kind of like the Crow, inspired by the Crow. All dark all dark. He started to appear, right? And nobody knew why he was appearing, and because he never talked. So he made us wonder whose side is he on? Is he on WCW side or NWO? And there's time for about 5 or 6 months where it seemed like, can you trust some of the guys at WCW? Because not everybody in WCW can trust them, right? And there's times the WCW guys attacked him. There's times the WCW guys didn't attack him. He kind of lined himself with Macho Man Randy Savage too, right? Well, Macho Man turned out to turn on WCW and join the NWO. But there was times of Sting, even Sting would at times to play around with NWO, would look like he's joining them at times too. And for about 5 or 6 months, he's been playing around WCW and NWO, who with the crowd and the audience at home, whose side is he on? Who could trust Sting? And NWO all wanted Sting in his group. They all wanted Sting in his group, the real Sting. Okay? Okay? Stinger! All right, who could trust Sting? All right, so we finally got the decision who he was loyal to. What? Who is loyal to? Uncensored. Uncensored made it clear whose side he was on. He started to attack the NWO. And then he pointed his bat at Hulk Hogan, making it perfectly clear he's coming for Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And now throughout spring and summer, well, not necessarily wrestling each other, Hogan wrestled other wrestlers like Lex Luger and stuff. Dance Wildman, Lex Luger, Giant, all that. Well, Lex Luger did win the title for about a week and then lost it to Hogan at the pay-per-view. I forget what it's called. That did happen. I think it could have been World Wild or Hog Wild at the time. I don't know. Okay. It was one of those. Okay. And Sting, most of the time, would get the upper hand in NWO. He got to Bischoff, he got to everybody else, right? He would create a severe head of Hulk Hogan, like a mannequin head of Hulk Hogan or something, to scare Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And Sting, this whole time, well, making it perfectly clear what his goal is to get rid of Hulk Hogan and NWO. Never spoke a word. Never talked. He was silent. Okay? He was silent. Never spoke a word. And it worked. For a whole year. It worked. This whole thing worked. Right? Hulk Hogan and Sting building up. This guy was going to save WCW from the NWO. WCW finally has a savior in Sting. A true savior in Sting. Someone WCW needs to be afraid of. Perfect. It's a perfect hero versus villain story. Okay. I'll be right back. Perfect hero and villain story. Good guy, bad guy story. Okay. And finally, at the biggest show. Okay, I don't know how long this is. Okay. How long are my past 5 episodes of this? Because this is kind of short. At the biggest show, WCW, the biggest WCW's WrestleMania is Starrcade. In fact, Starrcade was created before WrestleMania. Okay? Starrcade was in 1983. WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania was in 85, right? But NWO WCW had Starrcade created in 83, I believe. Let me check real quick. Okay. So this is all leading up to Starrcade, and in '97, Sting versus Hogan. This great build up for this match. Wrestling fans are invested in interest. This is when WCW and NWO. This is when WWE and WCW were going battling back to the Monday Night Wars. Really heated up at the time. It was a great time to be a wrestling fan during the mid 90s to late 90s to 2000 basically. Great time to be a wrestling fan. WCW and WWE, great time. Right. So they were finally a Starrcade. This is going to happen. Now, the thing is, Starrcade, man, 97. As much as his rivalry was so iconic, so good between these two, Starrcade, on the other hand, was a disaster. Was a disaster. A major disaster. Huge disaster. All this storyline build up, all this good storyline build up for this one match, we finally get Sting in Hollywood Hogan. The climax and conclusion fell apart. Right? It fell apart. And Bischoff and Hogan will say that, you know what? Sting hasn't been in his best shape because Sting hasn't wrestled in over a year. He's been hurt and he hasn't been exactly in his best shape, and they don't think he can carry it. He carry it. And he doesn't look good. Also, Bret Hart comes in as an enforcer. The way they introduced Bret Hart in WCW was a disaster. The match was botched itself. You saw like the 3 count, but Bret Hart is like, no, never happened. Bret Hart made sure Hogan said he quit, and Hogan who lost and tapped out to Sting. But the match itself was a disaster. It was really, really bad. You gotta go watch it if you can. If you can find it, but it was bad. Like there was some going into that match. Bischoff and Hogan had some doubts about losing the title of Sting just because of the condition Sting is in. Yeah, Sting looked good, for a whole year, doing a little bit. But this is a match, right? This is a match. Not where he's doing a couple of spots. This is a match where he has to go 10, 15, 20 minutes. And Bischoff and Hogan say, yeah, Sting is not made good, not maybe the right time to put a title on Sting because of the condition he's in. But it actually was the right time because the story had to be Sting had to conquer the NWO. Now, obviously, the NWO did not end after 97. NWO went on for about a year and a half, right? Another year, but it wasn't the same. We got the Civil War, formed the Wolfpack, and then NWO and the Wolfpack formed together to become, they rejoined sides, they combined forces in late 99. It wasn't the same after that. But Sting spoke after, because they stripped him the title. They stripped him the title like the next Nitro. Says it wasn't a legal win. Whatever. Because of Bret Hart getting involved. It's just that the match is bad. All the build and the hype leading to that match flopped and might have destroyed the momentum of WCW versus NWO. No, don't get me wrong. And WCW was dominating the rating wars in 96, 97. 98 changed. WWE was starting to become good again. Okay? WWE was starting to become good again. 98 is when the fortunes changed for both companies. Okay? WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin. They had a gem in Stone Cold. Okay? They had a gem in Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was mega over with everybody. I mean, this guy, you would wear his shirts in the crowd. Like, at least 90% of the audience wore Austin shirts, related shirts. This guy was transcendent beyond wrestling. Kids at school would wear Austin shirts. There were other wrestling shirts. I mean, he had the DX. The thing is, WWE was more edgy, right? WCW couldn't be as edgy as WWE, right? Because of TNT, Turner stuff. Where WWE, they let them get away with it. USA let them get away with it because they saw was getting them ratings in the audience. Even though at first, USA wasn't exactly thrilled about the edginess, how far WWE was willing to go. But you saw it in 98, things turning. Austin was on the rise. Mike Tyson. They got fucking Mike Tyson. Kevin Nash said The minute they got Mike Tyson, and I agree with Kevin Nash on this, the changing of the guards changed. WWE was back on top. But WCW was going downhill despite still having NWO, despite they still have somebody like Goldberg, DDP, Sting, all these guys. But WWE was the place to watch at the time. And of course you have Stone Cold, but you had the rise of The Rock, right? The Rock. Undertaker, Mankind. Why are you paying Streamlabs? Cancel that, man. All right. But Stone Cold, Mankind, and Undertaker, Hell in a Cell match. Kane, WWE, and the thing is, WCW. One of the reasons why WCW was so good was NWO, but that Sting in Hogan feud for basically mostly a year was one of the reasons why WCW is dominating the ratings war. The 98 came. WWE was. You could slow in late 97. You're starting to see the tides changing a little bit. It was your tipping thing? Oh. Okay. A little bit. It was a tides changing. Until 98, everyone back in WWE's favor. WCW was so strong, but wasn't like as strong as once. It was starting to become ridiculous. Over the top wrestling. There's still a Sting. And then what people didn't like is when Sting joined the Wolfpack because people were like, this guy's been feuding with the NWO this whole time, but he joins an NWO group, the Wolfpack. It doesn't make sense. Even though Austin versus McMahon. Oh, I gotta do that, man. Even though Sting and the Wolfpack were baby faces, still I see the people's point of why Sting shouldn't even join the NWO Wolfpack when they were baby faces. I mean, defeats his whole purpose why he's against NWO, like joining NWO. This doesn't make sense. But it was a Wolfpack and a babyface, and his best friend Lex Luger joined. That's the reason he joined, because Luger is there. And the Wolfpack, I think the Wolfpack, they didn't care about destroying WCW. The Wolfpack was really there about fighting with the Black and White, NWO Black and White. I gotta do Austin McMahon. Maybe that's my next one. Oh, by the way, you can do super chats here on Degrassi now. Yeah, unfortunately, Netflix does not have in Canada. We have WWE transferred a lot of their stuff on Netflix, right? A lot of the pay-per-views, a lot of some past Raw, SmackDowns, etc., and NXTs. But they haven't transferred anything WCW related. And that's what upsets me. They haven't. There's no WCW pay-per-views or past Nitros or Thunders on Netflix. Red, buddy. Red. The company that owned Max, the company that owned HBO at the time is the one that sold them, or something like that. Warner, remember the merger destroyed WCW. They had no interest in keeping WCW. Remember? It's Ted Turner's fault too. Nope, only WWE stuff. And once WCW did get bought by WWE, and of course the Invasion storyline, the problem with this Invasion storyline, they did not get to some of their biggest stars. Their biggest stars sat on home collecting a paycheck until their contract expires. Like Nash and Hall were all sitting at home collecting their paycheck. With Flair was collecting his paycheck until his contract expired, but he came back in like October or November of that year, right? DDP and the Booker T, DDT and Booker T were the only two big stars from WCW that made the jump right away, right? Jump right away. Okay. Jump right away. But you didn't have Nash Hall. Goldberg came in 2023. It took him 2 years to come to WWE. But he didn't have the big stars right away. And in an old interview, Sting was asked about joining WWE early those days. He was actually talking with Vince McMahon. He was talking with WWE. Talking to WWE. Okay? But what changed his mind about not feeling the vibe about joining WWE? Because let's be honest, WWE did bury some WCW talents. Not Booker T. They definitely buried DDP. Booker T did not bury, but DDP they fucking buried. Okay, they buried DDP. But even though they did not bury Booker T has been successful. There was that one moment when The Rock came back, and The Rock faced Booker T at SummerSlam 2021. One of the reasons why Sting decided against going to WWE, he saw that promo where The Rock said, "Who the hell are you?" Booker would answer, and The Rock goes, "It doesn't matter who you are." And that's when Sting said, "Nope, I'm not going to WWE." Now, here's the thing. Booker T and DDP are not biggest thing. I understand, but DDP, they really did bury him. They fucking buried him in WWE. Okay. They fucking buried him in WWE. I'm not talking about that DDP, buddy. Diamond Dallas Page. Happy? Diamond Dallas Page. They ain't fucking buried Diamond Dallas Page. Okay? I don't watch the OVW shows. I mean, OVW is it was a good place where they developed such a WWE great superstars out of that program. But and then Sting, look, I'll say this. I understand where Sting is coming from, but I think they would not disrespect Sting if he came in then. I know 2015 they kind of fucking did disrespect him. He should never lost to Triple H. And honestly, they should never put him in a title program with Seth Rollins. Unless he's going to win the title. But he's fucking 0-2 in WWE. Like Sting's 2 matches 0-2. It's a fucking Sting we're talking about. I think back then they wouldn't bury him. But the Sting Hogan rivalry did carry on to TNA too. The TNA, remember when Hogan, did a whole thing that wasn't Fortune, what their version of the NWO, I don't know what was called a TNA, the group, Immortal, and they did that whole thing with Sting and Hogan at Bound for Glory when Hogan couldn't wrestle, he couldn't fucking move, and Sting, while he could still wrestle a little bit, was still much older at the time. It was really watching like 2 old wrestlers wrestle. It's not good. Watching when 2 older wrestlers in the 50s wrestle is not good wrestling. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I mean, Booker T. Triple H has buried a lot of guys, and he has put over a lot of guys. But early in his career, Triple H has definitely buried a lot of guys early in his career. Okay. Now, Triple H has a history of only putting over people he likes. And as he got older, he mellowed out a little bit. Okay. But Austin vs. McMahon is something I gotta do. I gotta do Austin vs. McMahon. I want people on for that. Okay. Now the TNA stuff, man. I watched that Bound for Glory, Hogan versus Sting. It was bad, man. It was like watching 2 50-year-old men try to wrestle, man. It's horrible. Look, I know there's some wrestlers in the 50s who are still wrestling, but you can see it, man. Wrestlers in their 50s should not be wrestling. If you're wrestling in your 50s, it's because you're desperate for money. I'm sorry. I'm calling out The Rock, or Adam Copeland too, man. I'm sorry, man. Like Jericho. God. Oh my God. I mean, like Adam Cole versus John Moxley is perfect because John Moxley is not the type of guy that's gonna do crazy stuff. And what I mean crazy stuff is like flips, highlight like type maneuvers, right? Not like Will Ospreay would do, not like Omega. John Moxley is more of a power guy. So yes, John Moxley will probably use weapons, but the style of wrestling John Moxley uses probably fits Edge Adam Copeland better because he's an older guy. It's just yeah, Adam Copeland almost did have an entire decade taken from him. That's true. It's just that he's 51 years old. It's just that Malachi Black match, he regretted doing that spot, and he told him, yeah, at this age, an injury like that can't heal as fast as that. So as quick as that. So I'm careful of he has to be careful of AEW because you can get injured in AEW. I mean, you don't have to do crazy shit in crazy spots in wrestling to get hurt because you get hurt on an easy spot too, an easy maneuver. Sometimes if you get punched in the face, your lip may be get busted open. If you get punched hard enough in the nose by accident, your nose gets open. It happens. It's just that he can't heal as fast. You just gotta be careful. Okay? And like Adam Copeland, Moxley is that type of guy. Now it's a singles match. Adam Copeland versus Moxley is a singles match. So no rules involved, but I assume somebody's gonna get busted open. But that is Sting and Hogan. And the weird thing was before I end this, because this is a good stream. I want to do this again. I want to do something like this again with you guys. The weird thing about Hogan and Sting was the WrestleMania match with Triple H, right? We got DX coming out. DX comes out to help Triple H, right? It's inside of Triple H. And then we got NWO. Hall, Nash, and Hogan on the side of fucking Sting, because Sting is representing WCW. But I'm like watching that match. I'm like, why the fuck is the NWO helping out Sting? Why would the NWO help out Sting? They've been feuding. They were rivals. And Sting represented WCW, a company they tried to destroy and take over. I mean, that's the weirdest shit. That's like one of the weirdest thoughts I had. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. For a younger audience, you might not know, but for an older audience that's into wrestling, we know that didn't make sense. That did not make sense. It was weird as hell. It was strange why the NWO would help out Sting in that match. I mean, if you really think about it, well, Lex Luger couldn't help him out because Lex Luger is confined to a wheelchair. And Lex Luger should be in the Hall of Fame. Just saying. Lex Luger should be inducted in the Hall of Fame. But he won't be inducted this year. But that's all I have for you guys. Good show, man. Once again, guys, if you're listening on the replay, I got super chats. Memberships should be up tomorrow or Sunday. Okay, 2 tiers. All right. And then next goal is to be fully monetized, get to 1,000 subs, which I'm 100 away. So if you get me to 100 subs, help me get to 100 subs. And I'm less than 900 hours away from 4,000. So I'm halfway there to monetize. Maybe tonight, something will maybe something tonight for SmackDown. Yeah, that's true. Well, WCW told Sid Vicious to jump up the turnbuckle, and his leg snapped in half. You saw that? But yeah, so if you can help me spread the word, help me get to 1,000 subs, 100 away. I'm gonna do that with shorts, and I'll try to upload some videos of SmackDown. Maybe something will jump off, give me some subs there, and I'm almost at 4,000 hours. I'm about like a little bit less than 800 away. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment below. I'll definitely be back Monday, but be on the lookout for videos and shorts. And I'll make a video promoting my membership. For my memberships, yeah. Make sure to like, share, comment below. Do all that. And also, if you want to look at my videos, if you want to super chat my videos, go ahead. I'll reply.